Welcome to the Westcott Crochet channel and welcome to this seamless lacy cardigan. I do love a good cardie and this light short sleeve number is perfect for summer. Check the description box for information on the written pattern. Any yarn recommending a 4mm hook will create a similar result. I used a 5mm hook. I also used a tape measure, stitch markers and a yarn needle. If you do like this one, send that message to YouTube and tap the thumbs up button. For future projects, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. You can now also follow me on Instagram. Working with my 5mm hook, I'm going to make a chain that goes all the way around the widest part of my upper body. The chain needs to be divisible by 6 minus 1. I'm going to chain 119. 120 is my divisible by 6, and then I take off the 1, so 119. I have my long chain, 119 for me. I'm going to skip the first 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, into number 5, double crochet. In case you're wondering, I'm just using the top loop and the back loop, but whatever you prefer. So that equates to a double crochet and a chain 1. So I skipped 4 chains for that. Then we'll chain 3. I'm going to double crochet into the 6th chain now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's number 6. Into there. Oops, turning around. Chain 3. Same spot, double crochet. So I've made 2 little V's. I'm going to be making V's all the way across. So this first row is double crochet, chain 3, double crochet, chain 3, but I'm going to alternate between, so I'll just do my chain 3. So that was double crochet, chain 3. I've just worked a V. I'm going to skip 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, into number 6, double crochet, chain 3. And 3, same spot, double crochet, chain 3. So that's the pattern the whole way along. Every time you're going to work double crochet, chain 3. After the V, skip 5 into the 6th, another V, all the way to the end. Here at the end of row 1, I have 5 chains to miss, so there's my last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, into number 6, double crochet, and like I did at the beginning, I need a chain 1 and a second double crochet, and that matches the start. So I have a row of V's. Onto row 2, and this is where the pattern starts to repeat. Chain 3, and that counts as my first double crochet. Turn around into this first space here. I'm going to put 3 double crochet. I'm going to skip this little irregular shape here into the next V. I'm only working the V's for row 2. No chains, straight into it, 3 more double crochet. Now I chain 3. 3 more double crochet into that very same V. And that's what row 2 is. Skip the irregular shape. Here's the V, here's the next one, here's the next one. 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet for each of them. Here at the end of row 2, I have the last V. I'm going to work 4 double crochets, same as I did at the start. And that's row 2. Row 3 is the second row of the repeat. I'm going to start by chaining 4 and turn around. That's the first double crochet plus a chain 1 into the first stitch, double crochet. So that's the first V. And I'll chain 3. So my yarn's tangled. Into the chain 2 space, double crochet, chain 3, double crochet to create another V. Chain 3. Next chain 3 space. I'm going to double crochet, chain 3, double crochet. For another V. And it's the same all the way across. Chain 3, create a V in the next chain space, chain 3, another V, chain 3, another V, all the way across to the end. The end of row 3, I've just worked my last V and chained 3. I'm going to go into the top of this chain, the first chain 3, with a double crochet. Oops, missed a loop. There we go, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the same spot. And from here, it's just repeats of row 2 and 3. So I'll chain 3, turn around, work 3 double crochet into the first space. Then I'll work 3 double crochet into the next V, chain 3, 3 double crochet, straight to the next V, 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. That's that row. And then the next row coming back and creating the V's. I've actually put a timestamp in the description for rows 2 and 3. So you can just skip back if you need to. I'm going to keep going now with this repeat until this reaches to my underarm where I want the sleeve to start. Okay, I'm back. I've worked 10 rows to get the length that I want. This is actually going to be a little crop cardigan for me. So there's also going to be a trim at the bottom. So I've made allowance for that. But obviously make it as long as you want. Now I'm going to start working 3 sections separately, the 2 sides and the back. I can't get it all on camera, I'm sorry, that's as much as I could get on. I have 18 bumps, chain spaces, and 2 halves. So that's 19 in total. I need to divide that by 5 and round it up to the nearest number. For me, the nearest number is 4. So I'm going to go for 4 bumps or chains for my side piece. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 2 halves makes 4. And the same on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 2 halves makes 4. You do need to end on a half here because as you work up the separate panels from here upwards, you need to end as you start with the 4 double crochets. So as you can see, probably the center section is smaller than the 2 sides. It's made up of 1, 2, 3 essentially because of the 2 halves instead of 4, but that's fine. The center can take a smaller measurement than the sides. That's not a problem at all. If you can get them all equal, then have them all equal. But sacrifice the center for the sides and obviously make sure that your 2 sides match each other. So I'm going to start with this side panel because that's where I am. I'm going to work all the way up to this marker here where I've marked. And I'm going to come back at this point. So same pattern as before. I'm on a V row. So I'm going to work up to this point. I'll be back. So I'm up to where I've marked that centre shell. I've just chained 3 after working my last V. I'm going to work a double crochet into that chain space, chain 1, and work a second one. So it's exactly the same thing as I've been doing before, but my row is a lot shorter. So it just ends there, and I'll turn around and go back and forth now until this gets up to my shoulder. That's my first side panel. I've gone all the way up to the shoulder. The top, I ended it on a shell row. That's important for the shoulder seam. Chain up 1, cut. I've just left a really long tail to join up the shoulder. It's not essential, but that's where I've gone. So yeah, end on a shell row. So you've got your double crochets and chain 3s. Next, I need to rejoin here and work the back from here to the next stitch marker. So when I started working the side panel, I was over here and worked inwards from the edge. So I'm going to keep going in the same direction. On with a slip knot into the loop, the loop that I finished up the side panel in. It's the same loop, same chain space. On with a slip knot, chain 1 to secure, and pull that tight. So I'm going to work exactly the same way. I'm going to chain up 4 to start. I'm just going to twist around. Double crochet into the same spot. So that's a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet to start with. Then I'll chain 3 and just go on with the pattern. I'm making V's. So double crochet, chain 3, double crochet. So I'll work all the way to my next stitch marker, which I've marked out for the other side, ending in the same way, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and then just work back and forth with the pattern. Okay, I'm back. I have a side panel. I now have a back panel. I just need to work up the other side from here. So again, going in the same direction that I would have been travelling in anyway. If you're not sure which direction that is, you've got a pointy end on your stitch, be heading towards the pointy end, the arrow leading the way. So into the same chain space I ended the back panel, on with a slip knot, pull that through, tighten it up, chain 1 to secure, and I just repeat the pattern. So for me, I'm on a chain 4 because I'm on a V row. So that was what, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to turn around and upside down, double crochet into the same chain space, chain 3 into the next chain space, double crochet, chain 3, double crochet, and so on, and work up to the same height as with the other 2 sections. After working both sides and the centre, this is what I have. I now need to join at the shoulders. I'm going to join on the inside, so this is actually the right side, so I'm going to fold it back that way and work a seam across the top. I'll just get myself into position. So to join up the shoulders couldn't be simpler. Where I left off, the top of the last side panel, I chained 1, and I'm going to go in with my hook through the corner of the back panel into the corner of the side panel and single crochet without dropping off. So single crochet, chain 5, in through the chain 3 spaces for the shells, and single crochet. I'm actually going to put 2 there just because it's a seam, give it a little bit of extra strength. Then I'm going to chain 5. And 2 single crochets. Same again, chain 5. 2 in here. And for me, the last one, chain 5. And in through the space. I'm actually going to go in through the stitch at the top there for the first one. And in through the space on this one. On this one. And single crochet. And then I'm just going to add a second one. So that's the seam. That's actually going to be the inside. On the outside, I can just get it into position. It's just going to look like that. At this point, if you want to add a finished edge onto the back, I'm going to leave mine like this with the shell tops because I think it looks cute. But if you want to finish off the edge, stay attached here. If you don't, like me, chain 1, cut your yarn. But if you do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains and just keep going. Single crochet, just the once this time because it's not a seam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains. Whoops. And single crochet. Just make sure that you stop before your next panel needs to be joined on. And what you could actually do then, of course, if you haven't left a tail end on your other side panel like I have, you can carry on and work your seam with your second panel and just work that right and along. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take this out and just leave the shell edge, as I say. Otherwise, it gives you this edge with a straight top. So for me, chain 1 and cut and work the same seam on the other side. Next, it's time to add a sleeve. I've already done one. I'll show you how over on the other side. So over on the other side, here I am at the opening, the arm opening, and this chain space is where I started and ended the 2 panels, and then I chained up for the first double crochet. I'm actually going to join into that space, which is the between the 2 double crochet space. So on with a slip knot, pull that tight, and chain either 1 and tighten that up, or if you're not going to work a standing double crochet, which I'm going to show you in a second, you can chain 6. So either chain 6 or, as I'm going to do now, standing double crochet. So I'm just going to tighten that up. My chain 1 is just to tighten it onto the actual work. To work a standing double, I'm going to give the loop a twist, just so that it's all tightened together. Then I plant my finger on the loop and wind the loop around my hook. In through the space, pull back a loop, and I've got 3 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And there's my standing double crochet. So either work that or chain 6. First 3 is your double crochet, and the second 3 is what I'm about to do now. So chain 3, and then in through for another double crochet, and I've created my first V. Then I'm going to chain 3 and just move that out of the way. Over to the next gap, which is again between 2 double crochets. I'm going to work another V. So chain 3, double crochet, chain 3 and double crochet. Chain 3. Next 2 double crochets, in between there comes the next one. And that's what I'm going to do, the whole way around. I'm actually back at the shoulder I'm sure you'd have figured this out, but in case not, I'll show you anyway. Where I've got the shoulder, I've got the chain that goes running across the shoulder, and then this gap here. I'm going to do the exact same thing as I have been doing, so double crochet, chain 3, and I'll just double crochet on the other side of that chain for the second part of my V, and carry on. I've gone all the way around working my V stitches. I'm just going to chain 3, so skipping over that chain space where, as I mentioned earlier, the two sides begin and end. I'm just going to slip stitch into the top of my standing double, or into chain 3 if you are a chain 6 start. Just find the other side, there it is. So slip stitch into there, closing the round. So here's my first V for round 2. I'm going to slip stitch into that V, and then I'm going to start again. So you can either chain 3, and that's your first double crochet, or standing double. And then I'm going to work the shell row. So 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets, all the way around into each V, obviously the other way around, but this is where you'll come back to. And then I will slip stitch into the corner of this stitch. That's me all the way around. Just work my last shell, slip stitch into either the top of the third chain or the top of your standing double, joining those two together. At this point, for the next round, I need to be in here, so I'm just going to slip stitch across the top of these 3 double crochets and into the space, and then working a V from here. And it's the same as the row, the first one on the sleeve. So again, either chain 6 or work a standing double and chain 3, then work a second double for the other side of your V. Next V in the next spot, next V in the next spot, and so on all the way around. Slip stitch to close, and then start the shell round. After the shell round, you need to slip stitch across your last few stitches, your first few stitches, to get yourself in position for the next V round. So just work as many as you want for as long as you want your sleeve to be. I'm going to do 4 pairs of rows, so V row, shell row times 4, and the back. I've worked the rows onto my sleeve now. Next I need to cinch it in for this next stage. So I need to make a quick calculation. So the first thing I need to do is to measure around my arm where the sleeve currently sits. And then take my tape measure to the bottom of my work and measure the same distance, and just count up how many stitches I have in that measurement. That's how many stitches I ultimately need around the sleeve. I've worked out that I need roughly 46 stitches around my sleeve end, give or take, it's just roughly. I have 17 chain spaces, and each of one of those is going to get a single crochet. So straight off the bat, I can take that out of the equation. So 46 minus 17, I'm left with 29 stitches to make up. If I've got 17 chain spaces, I've got 18 gaps in between. So I need to work out how many chains I need to work in these gaps. The way to do that is I take my 29 that I have to make up, divide it by the 18. That gives me 1.6. I can't do 1.6 chains. I could do 1 chain, then single crochet, then 2 chains, single crochet, 1 chain, single crochet, 2 chains, but I have to go around twice in either event. So I'm going to do it in 2 stages. So I'm going to round my 1.6 up to 2 and work single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, chain 2 in the gap, single crochet, chain 2 in the gap. I closed my round, I slip stitched back into the chain space. So first up, a single crochet, chain 2, straight over to the next gap, chain space, sorry, single crochet, chain 2, over to the next, chain 2 space, chain 3 space, sorry, single crochet, chain 2, all the way around, obviously working to whatever numbers your calculations throw up. I've gone all the way around, I've just done my last chain 2, I'm going to slip stitch into my first single crochet. So I've reduced my stitch count quite a lot, I just need to go a little bit further. So for me I need to lose another 7. I have 53, so if I take my 53 and divide it by 7, so that I can space out my reductions, that gives me 7.5. Again, I can't reduce every 7.5 stitches, so I'm going to reduce every 7. I can round up or down. If I round up, I'll have fewer reductions. If I round down, I'll have more. So I've gone for down because I've left my measurement kind of loose, so down's the way to go for me. So I'm going to do a reduction, a decrease every 7 stitches. So for the reductions, I'm going to chain 1 to start. I'm going to slip stitch back into that chain 1 when I finish the round. I'm going to start into the first stitch that I've just slip stitched into with a single crochet. Then I'm going to work 2, because I've got chain 2, I'm going to work 2 single crochets around there, so I'll count them out as well. So that's 2, 3, stitch number 4 is in this single crochet, so that's 4, 5 and 6 are in the chain 2 space. I'm going to work 6 and 7 together to get rid of number 7. So I'll work 5 on its own, and then 6, I go around once, then I go in through the stitch and pull up a loop. So I've got 3 loops. Work those all together. So that's my 7th stitch just disappeared now into along with the 6th. Then I start again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 and 7 I work together. So that's 6, pull up a loop, next one, pull up a loop, pull through all 3 loops, and that's 6 and 7 together. And I'll just keep going around like that. And where I get to a point, if a chain 2 space, the reduction is, this is 6 and 7, I can't reduce over and around a chain 2 space. I'll literally just put 1 single crochet in the chain 2 space and then carry on counting from there. For the next stage to work, the cuff, I need to make sure that I end on an even number of stitches. So as I get around to the beginning, I'm just going to count my stitches and make sure that I've got an even number, or aiming for an even number. If not, I'll either leave a decrease off or add an extra one in and make sure that I land on an even number. I've worked all my reductions. I have an even number of stitches, so I'm all set. Just try this on at this point and make sure you can get it on. It's not too tight or uncomfortable. It will pull in a little bit from this next trim section. As you can see, this is the same number of stitches, but it does stretch. So it's not actually tightening up. So onto the trim. So this trim is worked with alternating back post, front post double crochet stitches. And here's where the standing double pays for itself, because I can keep going with back post, front post, even for the first stitch. And that makes it seamless. It goes literally all the way around. Whereas if you're starting with a chain 3, you're going to have a chain 3 and you can't either pull it back or forwards. So if you can do the standing double, that's the best way to go. Failing which, chain 3, and you'll just have the slightly different looking start point. So if that's the case, you may want to center your start point somewhere you don't mind it being slightly different, like sort of under the sleeve. So it's not like at the front or the back or somewhere it's going to be obvious. So I'm going to standing double it. If you do need to move it, obviously chain 1 cut, reattach your yarn somewhere else. So I'm going to do a standing double, and first we're starting with a single crochet row. So to do the post or around the post, you're kind of going in through both loops of the stitch and coming back through both loops of the next stitch, and that's going to get you around the post. So that's it in that direction. In the other direction, you'd come in through the back and then through the front to the back. And that again works you around your post. So you're either going to chain 3 at this point and then work the next post, or a standing double with me. So I'm just going to twist my loop, and I'm going in around this very first post. So in through the post, pull back my loop, through 2 and through 2, and that's my first stitch. The next one's right here for a back loop. So in I go from the back to the front, pushing that back, front loop again, next one's back loop, and just alternating the whole way around. To close the round, either slip stitch on top of your chain 3 or on top of your standing double. So for the next round, chain 3 if you're chaining 3, or work your standing double if that's what you're doing. So wrap my loop, and for a standing double I can go front post again for that first stitch, keeping my front posts front posted. Next stitch is back post, so I do the same again, around the front post front posted, and around the back post with a back post. So if it's pushed back, keep it back. If it's pushed forward, keep it forward, and just keep following that pattern the whole way around. I'm going to do 3 rounds, including this one. That stitch looks terrible. I'm going to go back and redo that. So I'm going to do 3 rounds and then I'm done. Sorry, I will just add, if you're working a chain 3 start, you don't then work around your chain 3 from the row before. They just stack on top of each other as chain 3s. You can only then start with your next actual posted stitch. So that's what I mean about them looking slightly different. So you're going to have a chain 3 stacked on top of each other just for that first row of stitches. That's 3 rounds, working the double back post on top of the double back post, double front post top of double front posts. And as you can see, because I've worked the standing double, it looks the same, more or less. So chain 1, secure my work at this point, cut my yarn, pull that through. Next job, I'm going to turn to the bottom. I'm going to start at this corner with my cardigan facing forwards. I'm going to insert my hook into stitch number 1, or the gap where stitch number 1 is in this instance. Pull through, chain 1 to secure, whoops, and then drop it, or don't. Right, chain 1 to secure, and pull that tight. I'm going to work a single crochet on top of, or in between, should I say, where I have the point of the V, and then I'm going to work 5 chains, so 5 single crochets in between. So I have a V, so I work a single crochet. Then I'm going to work 5 single crochet across the chain. That's my 5. Here I am at the V. So I'm going in around that whole deal with a single crochet. These will spread themselves out evenly. Again, 5 around the chain. Here's the V, in through the V, and 1 around there. I'm going to go that way the whole way around the base. I've just worked around my last chain with 5 single crochets. My last single crochet goes in the bottom just there into that space. Just turn myself around for the first row of the bottom trim. At this point you'll chain 3 or work a standing double. Into stitch number 1. Stitch number 2, I'm going front post, back post again. So starting with the front. And on to the back. So row 1's a little fiddly because I'm going from single crochet row again. And on to the front. And so on. All the way across, round to the other side. It's the end of row 1. There's no post for a last stitch, so just make sure that you work that last stitch into the top there. Now I'm going to work my standing double around my very first post, but I can't do that from this side, from the right side, because I can't work a back post from this side. So what I'm going to do is work from the end of the last row, just keep facing the same direction, and just put my standing double around as a front post, and then when I turn around it becomes a back post, and then I'll work the front post, back post from there. Obviously if you're chaining 3, you just go chain 3 and then work from the next stitch. So I'm going to keep going, alternating now for again 3 rows. I think I'll come back when I'm done. That's 3 rows around the base and I'm done. I'm away to weave in some ends. If you do all of that, you'll have one of these. If you're posting finished projects to Instagram and your account is set to public, do tag me in, I'd love to see your pictures. As always, thank you for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. Much appreciation to those who already have.